All right, let's start. Let's start. I see you, Susher Man. I agree. Let's start. What's up, everyone? Pilcrow, welcome in. Zero Cosmos. Actually, I don't know how to say it, but Exige. I'll just call you Exige. Welcome in. Hello. And Elian. Hello, hello. How are y'all doing today? It's a Monday over here. It's a beautiful morning. And we're here to do a state of state of JavaScript survey. Weird Freudian slip there. It's all just JavaScript at the end of the day. Is this one of the legendary Whiteboard Man streams? Yeah, brother. We've got our whiteboard right here. Check it out. XC. Okay, yeah. If you're curious, Exjeet? Okay, the music got way louder, by the way. I'm going to turn down the music. I was listening to a song that was pretty mellow, and then I was like, wait, why is it louder now? So let me pull it to there. Is that good volume? I think it's good volume. It might still be loud, though, so let me know. But yeah, very tired today. Dude, you've been everywhere. Per usual. You've got heckin', I don't know how many. You got the Brussels meetup, right? Wasn't that what you were up to? Or Berlin? It was one of the two. But yeah, that's rough. That's a lot of stuff. All right, but I'm sharing the tweet as usual. If anyone wants to reshare that we're live, or at least drop a like, I appreciate it. React Day Berlin, yes. All right, I got it right the second time. Was Chris there? I know he's up in Berlin, but he's not a React user, so give and take. Last I was here, you were trialing NeoVim. Whoo! Did you end up taking the plunge and going full-time? Not really. So I think Vim motions are something I just need to flip on. I had a rough few weeks. Well, not rough few weeks, but it was a busy time at Astro, and I didn't want to slow down my day-to-day doing Vim motions because I was like, I know I'm going to code slower, and I've got to pump some stuff out. But now that we're off the launch week and we're planning from here, I think it's a good time to take a few weeks and spin up on Vim motions. So I think I'm going to stick with VS Code because of the TypeScript server and linting and just generally just feeling good about your extensions. The one problem I had with NeoVim, well, the main problem, was every time I needed to update an extension, I was just terrified. Like, I guess I'll run Packer Sync, which I'm using Packer in order to update stuff. I guess I'll run it and hope one extension doesn't break another, and 1 out of 3 times it did, and I just didn't know what to do. It was painful. It was real painful, I'll admit. I do like the simplicity of NeoVim, but I figured out how you can hide a lot of panels in VS Code to enter that same kind of Zen mode. So I'm going to try Vim motions in VS Code to see if they're okay. I've heard that NeoVim makes Vim motions better too, like VS Code is more fiddly, so I'll find out. I'll mess around and find out, keeping it PG. But yeah, The goal is to get onto Vim Motions full-time now that we're spinning things down at work. Plan. NeoVim, it will still be a redeemable thing on this stream. So if you want to force me to use NeoVim, you can. The hope is for it to get easier and easier, though. My VS Code is only the code. Yeah, you can. You can. It's really nice. I realized you could hide the tab view. So the thing that really messed me up in VS Code is having all those tabs. Excuse me. Having all those tabs on the top bar, and you're just like, I don't know what to do. I don't know which tab I have open. I don't know how to organize these stupid tabs. It's just having them was stressful. Even if you ignored them, just having tabs was stressful. And then I got rid of them and my life just got easier. Not as easy as NeoVim. I do like switching around files in NeoVim a little bit better. But, you know. Command Pal plus shortcuts, yeah. What plugin are you using in VS Code? Oh, so many. Most of them are just language tools. So like Astro and Vue and Svelte and all of those ones, they're all very stable in VS Code and a little bit less stable in NeoVim. I do have a couple custom plugins, but these days not many. I think my main one is, and I guess I'm just giving a tour of my editor now, so 1 second. But ooh, let me send this message in my Discord because this is timely. I gotta invite someone to my Discord, actually. Let me create an invite for a cool guy that I know. There we go. Boom. We're getting some contributors on this project, people. All right, there we go. But yeah, we had a big launch yesterday. We had a big launch of an open source library that I'm very proud of. And I want people to go use it. So, you know, we're going to talk about that a little bit. Then we're going to talk about my VS Code because someone asked. And then we'll get into State of JS, okay? I'm going to cap it at like 5-10 minutes of tomfoolery, and then we'll get into it. I use regular old VS Code Vim. I think that is... So you mean like the regular Vim Motions plugin? Is that what you mean? Because I use that as well. Or I've at least installed it and used it sometimes. I haven't used it all the time. But okay, let me make sure I've closed out of any tabs that I need to close out of. Like, I really, really need to. Okay, I think we're good. So yeah, let me pull this open for you. So if I head over to my share, this is what I have installed right now with a certain repo. I'm also going to open my window manager because that wasn't started. Yeah, so right now I'm just using VS Code pretty much in the raw. You can hit bang theme in the chat or type it out to get what my theme is. Faison, welcome in, man. So we have Alpine, syntax highlighting. We've got auto import. You can see it's a lot of regular stuff. And some of these I might not even need. Like auto import, I think VS Code does for you now, so I should probably just remove that. It's just cruft that I've had forever. And then a lot of convenience stuff. I have color highlight in there. CSS variable completion. This is because I use a library called OpenProps that gives you a set of CSS variables. And you probably, if you've worked with CSS variables, you know there's like no autocomplete. Like if you set a global variable, you can't actually get the type completion anywhere. But this plugin lets you add what the CSS variables are to your editor config. So when I'm using that library, I can add CSS var complete, and it'll autocomplete all the CSS variables in the library. As far as I know, VS Code is the only editor that really has something like this. Maybe IntelliJ does too. But this is nice. This is one example of like NeoVim would take longer to have this, and it might break over time. Custom snippet maker, this is nice. So snippets are a real simple idea in VS Code where you can create a file that will fill in the blank whenever you type out some characters. And I use this when I'm giving conference talks. So when I did my React Server Components talk, there were a lot of components I wanted to scaffold out, but I didn't want to live code every last thing. I wanted to live code the important stuff and leave the scaffolding to just snippets. For example, if I didn't want to type all of this out and I needed it for a talk, I could just say custom snippet, or sorry, what is it? Create snippet. And I could say, I don't know, I'm just going to call it form context maybe. And this is what I type in my editor in order to get that snippet back. You can also add variables and other things to autofill. But you can see this created a snippet just in my current project. Perfect for giving conference talks because it doesn't pollute other parts of my editor. And now anywhere I can type form context, and there it is. You know, it's real simple. I'm sure NeoVim has a equivalent because there's just not much to it. But having that built into VS Code is just very natural. So I like that one. If you're ever giving talks, use snippets. Use them ridiculously. Because I can't stand people who give talks and they like go over to another editor, copy, come back to their editor and paste. Because it takes time. Sometimes they copy paste it wrong. And it's harder to rehearse that way because you need 2 windows so you don't get distracting. But with snippets, you just type out a couple characters and all of a sudden, boom, there's code. And I gave a talk where I had like 30 snippets. And for whatever reason, I could just remember them because I named them after whatever I was trying to do. So yeah, you can have as many snippets as you want just for a given project. And it's really good. I don't use it day to day, but I definitely use it for that. Then there's stuff like .env. I don't even know why I need this, but whatever. GitHub Actions, Copilot, of course. I mean, NeoVim has Copilot too. I've heard VS Code is a better experience with Copilot because Microsoft is God. The Houston theme is gorgeous. This is not in NeoVim, and it's a beautiful theme. It's named after Astros mascot. It's made by Nate Moore, who anything Nate Moore touches turns to gold. If you ever see a library built by Nate Moore, just download it and see what it does. I don't even care what it is. Even if you have no use for it, just use it because it'll make you happy. Nate Moore knows what he's doing. So yeah, Clax. Baby! Clax is good. Let me demo that actually. So Clack is a CLI library that our man Nate Moore made. So let me show you what it looks like. I added this for simple form. So you can type simple form create, and it gives you this beautiful prompt right here with like this little line to show your progress and this left and right arrow to choose a Boolean. You can also type Y or N the way you normally would. So here I'm going to say N, and well, we only support React right now. But you can see it's well formatted. I mean, it's well formatted if it's wide enough. Terminals are hard. But yeah, you see that? It's like this beautiful formatted message. And then you can type in this right here. And with validation, it will show you a really nice error message that lets you keep typing. So it'll auto-resolve it. Then I could say I actually want it to go here. And it'll give you a nice closing message. You're all set, all with green dots. Like, it's just beautiful. And it took me 30 minutes to make, having never used the library before. It's really impressive. It also has handling for cancels. So if you hit Control-C, sometimes you can break a command line prompt and it'll throw a ton of errors because it didn't know how to handle it. But Clack knew about that. So if I hit Control-C, it gives a strike through and the word canceled. How nice is that? That is so good. You can customize this message too. If you want to say canceled, sorry, or canceled, bye-bye, you can do whatever you want. It's real freaking good. So shout out to Nate Moore. Total side tangent, but Clack. Clack is a good library. Someone drop a link in the chat because that is a cool library. But he also made this theme, which I enjoy. Iconify IntelliSense, I don't know why I have that. Image preview. These are snippets for React that I don't actually use because I made my own snippets. So let me just remove those. I don't actually use those. JS Doc, yeah. So this helps you with Markdown formatting. Again, like the fiddly stuff in NeoVim, it would take me a while to Google and figure out how to update my Lua config, but there's a marketplace over here. JSON tools, lit HTML, live share. If you ever need to share your editor instance with someone else, NeoVim does not have that. So you definitely need to switch to VS Code in order to get live sharing. It's not perfect, but it's best in business because no one else is really doing it. Again, though, IntelliJ might have it on lock. I don't know. MarkDoc, this is such an early language, they only have VS Code. Another reason to bet on VS Code, if it's ever a new project, they probably did VS Code first, and NeoVim will come later. That's how it works every time. And because I work on sort of cutting-edge tools, I'm literally building libraries to help you use cutting-edge tools, I do need cutting-edge editor tools in order to help me use it. So, again, VS Code is nice for that. So you got material design themes, you got MDX. This is just an old color theme that I don't really use anymore. Mustache. Oh, man, those were the days. Those were the freaking days. Neon Shimmer. Yeah, this was when I went through a bunch of cyberpunk themes, and I couldn't find one I liked. And then I made my own that I don't use anymore. Oh, well. Power Cursor. This is something a college friend of mine made. I'll admit I stopped using it after the first go, but it's really good for multi-cursor, which, by the way, big miss in NeoVim. Massive miss. No multi-cursor. No multi-cursor. Because I rely on this command right here, Command D, and this will multi-cursor select anything that matches that string. NeoVim can't do that. You could do a regex search to kind of sort of grab the correct string, but nothing beats just highlighting the thing you want, Command D, and you grab all the instances. It does have visual block mode. I know, and I use it. But notice how I'm doing a multi-cursor here. And sometimes I do it just to kind of set up a multi-cursor. So you see here I highlighted all the colons, and I can jump to the end of the line, beginning of the line, and I can start typing some suffix at the end. Like, that is just so good. Macros are something that scares me, and I should learn in NeoVim. It's probably a different reason I would prefer NeoVim to VS Code. Like, they're not equivalent, they're just doing different things. So I should probably try that. You're right. What else we got? We got Prettier, we got Prisma, Pug. I don't know why I have this. I never SSH into anything because I do front end. Rust Analyzer, of course. This is a huge point for NeoVim. The plugin for Rust in VS Code, not as good. If you are a Rust head, or honestly people who aren't using TypeScript, NeoVim might have better language tools that are faster, less glitchy, etc. So, big knock on VS Code. Rust Analyzer is better in NeoVim. I will give you that. Slinkwave, this is my old color theme. You can see it's pretty garish. I don't really use it anymore, but this was my sort of cyberpunk attempt based on another color theme. It's pretty cool. I don't use it anymore, but if you want to try it, Slinkwave. It's my one claim to fame on the VS Code marketplace. And I don't know how to publish updates anymore. It's been a year. Anyways, we got Tailwind, of course, Theme Switcher. This was to, like, switch it for light and dark modes. I used to do it, like, daytime I had a light mode, nighttime I have a dark mode. I don't do that anymore because Houston theme is great, but it does have that, which is kind of nice. Toggle quotes. This is a real big one. Everyone in VS Code should probably try this. So if you do command and then the quote symbol, you can toggle between the three types of quotes. So if you're like, ooh, I can't use a single quote, I need a template string. Just cycle over to template string and now you have it. It's real nice. If you ever need to cycle quotes, toggle quotes. It's a good little plugin. It works well, and I've used it for years. We got VS Code style components. Oh God, I just want to uninstall that. No, I'm going to install because I know I'm going to need it at some point. I hate that I will. Then you got YAML and Vue. And then all the ones that I disable, like Dino. I have to disable it because it conflicts with Node sometimes. It's not supposed to, but it does. So there's that. Discord presence. Yeah, I don't really tell people I'm playing VS Code. It's kind of weird, but I at least have it. Front Matter CMS. This was like a crazy visual editor for Front Matter that Erica on the Astro team recommended. And I don't use it anymore, but it is a cool way to like actually have text boxes and see shared front matter across Markdown. So if you use Astro and Markdown, you might like this. I just don't use it. GitLens is a nightmare of pop-ups that constantly jump scare me, where it like tells me, here's my code, and I'm about to click on a line of code, and all of a sudden it jumps the line down to tell me who wrote that line of code. And I accidentally click on their GitHub profile and this huge tree appears. I'm like, this is the worst jump scare ever. I need to make a meme about it because I hated it so much I stopped using GitLens. I can't do it anymore. I'm sorry. Go. I don't know why I disabled Go, but I did. But I definitely have used Go. It's a good language. iSort. I don't know why I have that. Markdown all in one. It's a bit of a nightmare. Pylance and Vimmotions, which I have disabled, but I will enable from here. That's my setup, man. Mostly language tools, a couple niceties like toggle quote and snippets, but in general, I try to keep it pretty close to stock. The only change I'm going to make, use Vimmotions and see how they feel. Yeah. Okay, I might actually turn that into a video, touring my VS Code setup. Would anyone be interested in that? It would probably go on Twitter, because I don't want to post a full length on YouTube, but yeah, that's my editor. I've been ignoring the chat a little bit. How can you jump from using Vimmotions and not using it? Honestly, I need to get back into Vimmotions. I'm comfortable with the VS Code shortcuts, obviously, and I'm kind of comfortable with Vimmotions. So I feel like I could do both. And the beauty of Vimmotions, once you enable it in VS Code, you still have multi-cursor. I could still use all my VS Code shortcuts if I want, but I can use Vim motions for everything else. Pretty slick. I only use Git Lens and Zen mode. Gives me nothing in line. That would be cool. Some niceties in video. Yeah. That would be cool. I did start using this, though, Git Graph. This is something a coworker recommended to just see all of the commits that you have going. Because we also use tags in order to do prod releases on a project. So it is nice to see all of your tags and move them around with this. But in general, it shows you where things diverged, where I can see I was working on client forms for a long time and then eventually merged it in. It's a good sanity check to see where you are. So I don't need Git Lens because Git Graph answers all of my questions. You should install Git Graph, dude. It's real simple. I just installed it and I have no questions. It's super intuitive. And to add a tag, look at this, add a tag. If your team does GitHub tags for releases, just use this panel and you can push to remote with that checkbox and you're done. You can also remove tags if you have one with remove tag. You can cherry pick. I should try that sometimes because cherry picking from the CLI is fine, just not great. You can also revert and a couple other things. It's pretty nice. Pretty nice tool. It's very focused. It doesn't get in your way. It just does what you need it to do, and I like that. Let me scroll up in chat, and then we'll get to the State of JS survey. My favorite plugin is one that shows me unsaved files. That would be so good. Wait, because here's the problem with not using tabs. I forget to save so often because this is the save indicator. Normally, the save indicator is next to the file name, so I see it. Now the dot is way over here, and I miss that there's unsaved changes, every time. And it's so annoying. I want something that actually just, handles that. Makes it more obvious that I need to save the dang file. So link me a dang extension if you have one. And thanks for linking Clack earlier. I appreciate that. Live share is solid. I agree. It's not the best. Sometimes it breaks. But when it works, it works. The creator of Front Matter is a friend of mine. Hey, Elian. Not surprised. Very nice. Dissect from Graph. Yeah, I know. It's got a lot of stuff. I would definitely use Git Graph. But yeah, Git Lens, I can't get into it. If there's must-have features in there, I might go back, but nah. Okay, so one other plug that I'm going to make. I made a library. Simple Form. It is lovely. I have an explainer video here. We built it on stream, and it is open sourced and ready for you to use. My pitch, and if you don't use Astro, just look away, okay? Okay, just look away. This is for the Astro people. This is for the real ones. I think this is so good, it'll make you try Astro. But Simple Form is a full-stack validator. Write out your forms with Zod. Parse them with a one-liner inside of your server code. Just parse your form data. And CodeGen to give you the perfect form component to go off and build something. But it's CodeGen, so you can tweak and modify the form however you want. Because form libraries are a mess. There are so many properties that you have to remember, and there's so many use cases to address. I said, you know what? Let's build a code generation tool that gives you a form that validates and does everything you want it to do, and then you're allowed to tweak the source code from there. That is my pitch. It is a form with nice defaults that you can tweak without having to learn a library. I think it's pretty cool. I think it is pretty cool. I should probably get my pitch a little bit better. But yeah, this is the README. This is how simple it can be if you don't have client-side validation. Create a form. Here's your validators. One-liner to get the data out of the form request. It'll check if it's a post. It'll check if there's form data. It'll give you undefined if there isn't data. Otherwise, it has it. That's it. And it also gives you input props, so you don't have to say type number and type checkbox. It'll generate those properties based on the schema. So if you edit this, it edits these. It keeps them in line. Pretty cool. And you can also see more advanced stuff. Here's all the props that are generated. You can see here how errors are handled, field errors, dot form name, and then the map of all of the errors. And that's all you have to do. And you can also do get data by name because there's always multiple forms on a page. Just drop form name into any form, and you can say get data by name, the form name. That's all you need to do. You don't have to manage hidden inputs yourself. It's first class. Lastly, simple form that is, yes. Yeah, and we will get documentation on Starlight. We absolutely will, because we're outgrowing our README already. But you can see a little Stack Blitz playground down here if you want to look at the React form. But here it is. We've got pages, index page, simple form. If we ever get data, we're going to show you successfully submitted the form. That was Copilot, but whatever. And then our sign up down here. So this is our sign up component. It's pretty simple. Form group is just me trying to make nice looking styles, but all you need are labels and inputs. And you can see form, input, and use form context if you're into that, all come from the form.tsx. This is what's code generated. And first I'll show you the usage. So in form, you can pass in the validator that you just wrote. You can pass in any errors from the server if you need to hydrate those. That's optional. You can also optionally pass a form name. It's even simpler here. You just say name signup if you want to do that. And then, again, prop spreading, nothing out of the ordinary. And it has live validation per input. So if you see here, I'm typing out my name, and I made it a minimum of 2 characters. So if I tab away, it'll validate. And if I update it, it live validates. So once you error, it has live feedback on all of the changes that you need to make. And you might have noticed there's a delay there. That's because I made it asynchronous. Async support is built in. So if you have an async validator that does a fetch call to a server and comes back, it just works. All of it just works. Of course, I can remove this in order to give you instant feedback if you want it. But yeah, you can see like there, invalid input. It's instant feedback once you make your first error. And then you can submit the form, and that will send off to the server. You can also get a load indicator, is submit pending, and you can use form context in order to grab that. You can also hoist the context or do something else if you need to. Because some people don't like having split out components in order to get the context. They want to get it at the top. You can, customize that. But yeah, this is it. And from here, you can tweak this however you want. So you can see here we have like on blur, on change. You can change all of these. Like maybe you don't like that we only validate on blur for the first one. Maybe you want on change for everything. So you don't want to check if it has errored before. You just want on change instant validation. Boom. I tweak the source code and now it does the thing I want. You can also make subcomponents that inherit and do different behavior. It's up to you. All we help you with is creating the store for all the values. And from there, you can modify it if you'd like. On blur means that you moved away from the input. So here I'm typing, so I'm currently on the input. And then if I hit the tab key or click away, that means I blurred the input. So now it's going to validate it once I've moved away. And that's usually a best practice because you don't want users seeing a bunch of error messages flash by. You would rather them fill it out the first time, wait for an error to come back, and if it does, offer live validation to instantly remove the error. So that's a default that we bake in. Yeah, it's a focus, non-focus, exactly. I'm waiting, when will this merge into Astro official integrations? Well, I don't know if it's official, but the way we do third-party integrations is as long as we have a tag on GitHub or on NPM, it'll just detect it. So to add it to a project, you can run astro add simple stack form. And if you do that, it will go find this third-party package, resolve the package. It will tell you it's not official, but don't worry. And it'll install both the package and the peer dependencies. So you can see here it depends on Zod as well. So it knows to install both simple stack form and the peer dependency. It'll also update your Astro config and let you move through all the pieces. So if I install dependencies, that'll take forever, but you get it. So it doesn't need to be official for you to have the cool CLI tools, Astro add, and it just kind of works. Yeah, I know, it's good developer experience. You don't have to read the peer dependencies. That's why I don't list them. Because I'm like, oh, just run this command and it'll help you set it up. I don't really care. You should just be able to use it. All right, so that's simple form. Go try it, people. I'm looking for feedback. I want to see if this is a good idea. I think code gen for forms is a novel idea that forms have not done before. So I want to see if we're onto something here. That is the goal. So go check it out. It's on GitHub. I shared a link above. Tried in Astro today. Yeah. Now let's do the State of JS survey. We're here. We're in it. We're in the sauce. Let's take a survey. All right. The State of JavaScript survey. We take it every year. We give our hot takes, our unpopular opinions, and maybe we learn about some new frameworks along the way. React.js has had a big year. Svelte has had a big year, completely changing how they do reactivity. Astro has had a big year, going from version 1 to version 4 by the end of the year. There's a lot of movement in the JavaScript space. So let's take the survey to see what's going on in the landscape and maybe offer some opinions of our own. Okay, take the survey. So, start. Let's jump in. Remix and Solid are on a roll. I agree. Which syntax features have you used? Okay, let's zoom in a little bit. So we have used dynamic imports because I'm a library author and we use that. Nullish coalescing, absolutely. Private fields because Pilcrow likes classes. I've learned about private fields. You put a pound symbol in front of anything that's a private class field. Yeah, like that. Oh, I love that they put a code snippet in here. Awesome. And it's fine. It's weird. It's not very JavaScript, but it's an option. But I want to use all of these again, by the way. Absolutely. Logical assignment. Ooh, yeah, I have used this, and every time people tell me to take it out of the code because no one understands what it means. But it's so nice. All it's saying is if this value doesn't exist, assign it. Otherwise, don't do anything. This is useful if you're iterating over an object and you want to say, if this key doesn't exist, add a new entry. Otherwise, leave it where it is. I use question mark equals to do that. And it's so nice. But it is very new, so I don't know. Error cause, I've learned about this. It's really nice. So if you want to add the error object and wrap it with a custom message, this is a way to make sure the error is still there, the stack trace is still there, but you can have a custom error class for everything else. So if you're ever customizing errors, make sure cause is in there. Hash bang. Oh yeah, I've only used this for CLIs. I mean, I'm going to use it again. I don't want to, so I guess I'll just do that. But yeah, I want to use all of those again. Which of these string features have you used? Replace all, really good. You don't have to use regex anymore to replace all instances. Match all, I'm not sure if I've used that, but I'm sure it's an equivalent. Yeah, I've used it probably once. Regex match indices. I don't think I've used this. So yeah, indices at 0. Oh, interesting. What is that really doing? So like we've got the regex. Why can't you just do a direct access? Because you're still accessing indices at 0. That's weird. I have not used it. I have not used it. That's a weird one. Array features. All right, find last. I already haven't used this, but that makes a lot of sense. So if you want to find the last match on something, that's cool. Add to your reading list. Oh, that's fun. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Too sorted. Yeah, the naming is hilarious. It's obviously just JavaScript built up over time. We can't break the web, so we're just going to have crappy names for APIs. I'm sorry. But it's a way to sort without mutating the array. If you run .sort, it'll just change the array underneath you. It doesn't give you a copy, and this does. To reverse is the same problem, and it is nice to make sure you get a copy. Array width. Oh, interesting. So why did it put it... Wait, what? Okay, so it... Why is this different from splice? Or slice, I can never remember. I think it's splice. What's the difference between that and width? Yeah, I don't know. Is that like... Oh, does splice modify the array? Is that why? I want to use this, but that's weird. Okay, to splice. Wait, no. I'm confused. Yeah, I mean, maybe width is like... Maybe width is an equivalent that's just less syntax, because you don't have to say how many versions of the thing. Yeah, what is the difference between width and to spliced, other than it's a simpler name? I don't know. Which of these async features have you used? I mean, everyone's used this. Promise all settled. Yeah, it's a pretty cool tool. It waits for all the promises to resolve before it like returns errors, which is really nice. If you have like a list of promises and one of them might error, you don't want to just nope out of all the other promises. You want everything to run, and then you get a bucket of things that succeeded and things that failed, instead of just getting the things that succeeded and having fails kind of nope out. So yeah, all settled, pretty neat. Promise.any? Oh, that's kind of cool. Yeah, I haven't used it, but that is a cool concept. Which of these browser APIs have you used? I have not used... I've used WebGL, usually with wrapper libraries. Always with wrapper libraries, but whatever. I'll use it again, sure. Web animations? Yeah, I have used this. So you can use JavaScript to add animations to stuff. It's pretty neat. I like it. WebRTC? Thankfully, no. Web Speech API? No, I haven't. WebSocket? I have. I'm going to end up using it again, but I don't want to, so let's just say that. Yeah. Page Visibility API? I don't think I know what that is. What is a Page Visibility API? Is it something I've used and I just don't know the name of it? Because I have no idea what that is. Broadcast Channel API? No, I have not used that. Geolocation? I have used it. I don't really want to use it again. XR? Temporal? Oh, this is the new dates and stuff. So I can't say I've used it, but it's so freaking good. At least from what I've heard. So we need to use temporal, people. We need to do it. Progressive web apps? Yeah. It's an excuse to not make an app, and sometimes that's a bad thing, so I don't know if I like it. And WebAssembly, absolutely. Let's go. Let's go, WebAssembly. What are your main points? What are your main pain points? Okay, that makes a lot more sense. Regarding the JavaScript language. How is this a therapy session? How many hours do you have? Like, I don't know. What are my pain points? Sort, verse 2 sorted, and verse 2 reversed is another mess to explain in a bootcamp. ESM verse common JS will be the death of me. Oh my god. HB is 74. Thank you. 20 tier 1 subs. You're probably the biggest gifter we've had, man. Holy crap. You're awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much. And welcome in. I don't know if I've even heard from you, but just Robinhood gifting the whole stream. Biggest yet, I know. Good stuff, man. Thank you. Really appreciate it. Glad you like what we're doing over here. I don't know if you're just dropping in, but welcome. Welcome, sir. Or ma'am. I'm unsure. Woo! Yeah, I know. Dang. So now all of y'all have to come to the next stream, okay? That's what a sub means. A sub means that you come back. All right? Because now you got the emotes. Everyone has access to Be Homestong Panic, so I want to see some panics in the chat. Thank you so much. JS in general, honestly, that would make sense over here. A sub means commitment issues. That's closer. That is closer. If you just want to commit for one more stream, just one more, just come back for one more. That's all we need. That's all we need. Best example for page, oh yeah, thank you, sir. Best example for page visibility is that it gives your media a feature to pause up when you're in different tabs. Oh, okay, I see what you mean. So if the page is tabbed away, if it's on a different tab, you're not looking at it, you can actually do something to handle that case. Yeah, I've noticed that for music. That is cool. That is cool. Now I want to use it. Well, I already added the check mark. I don't know what this reading list will do, but it seems kind of nice. Also, null versus undefined. Yep. Enough said. Broadcast channel API allows you to send messages between tabs. That's what that is? Helpful. Helpful, sir. And I'm going to add a little bookmark for that. Very useful. Okay. So, I don't know. What else I mean, there's so much that we could put here. I mean, these are the big ones. There's probably other big ones, though. Let me think. I'm thinking. What have I wanted? No match function. Missed that from FP languages. I do want a match function real bad. I run into the need for it so much. And I saw the proposal for a match function in JavaScript, and it was a mess. I hope that proposal, whatever it was, gets changed a little bit, because it was a stage 1 and it was crazy. No types. I could put it, but that's a little meh. Like, I don't know. JS doc inside of your JavaScript is okay. It does the thing. I mean, I just use TypeScript, and at this point, I've realized TSC has come a long way. I don't know if y'all have... I don't know if this is going to work. I'm actually... Let me try this. So I had a project recently. Let me go over to it. Eventbrite from scratch. I figured out that source maps are kind of goated. So if I click into validate form, okay, it doesn't do it. I was really hopeful that it would take me to the TypeScript file that generated this. Because when I was working in my mono repo, command clicking on validate form took me straight to the TypeScript file. But now that it's packaged up, it doesn't do that. Kind of a shame. I was hopeful that this map right here, this source map, would actually help it resolve. But unfortunately, it does not. You can see right here, it resolves to source module TS, but it doesn't work. Dang it. Because this is a big problem I run into, is like we add TypeScript, but now you can't view the source code, which is a big shame for a library like this, where you really want to look at the source code to see how you could implement it yourself. So that is a big one. I could probably just say it. Source maps have no standard and make TS packages a pain to author. HP also 6 months in advance with the tier 3, dude. The gift keeps on giving. You're freaking awesome. Thank you. No official server runtime. That's true. The Dino versus Bun versus Node debate makes cross-functionality more confusing. Yeah, it's a mess. What are your main pain points regarding browser APIs? This is a big question. This is a big old question. Pilcrow, I'm sure you got pain points on the browser APIs. Let me think. Compatibility. Fair enough. Fair enough. Chrome, Firefox, and Safari. Vue transitions are lagging a year behind. Bit of a mess. The navigation API is fixing all of my issues with like client-side navigation, so I can't really hate on the navigation anymore. I can't handle cores. Cores is tough to debug. Yeah. Just abandon Safari and focus on Firefox and Chrome a little bit. Web crypto is a confusing mess. Crypto's a confusing mess. But yeah, I know what you mean. Is a half-baked port of Node crypto with rough edges. I'll say it like that, because that's how I feel about it. I don't use it much, but I'm sure you're very deep in it, Pilcrow, as the authentication powerhouse around here. Let me think. This is a deep cut. Well, actually, no. This one, I figured this one out. I'm not even going to write it. Safari is better than Firefox from a technical standpoint. Probably. Safari really runs a tight ship on what they ship and what they don't. And Firefox is like, they've got good ideas, but it's middle of the road in quality and stability. I stay away from Web3. It's not Web3. We're not talking about cryptocurrency. We're talking about cryptography to like hash secrets and manage encoding and decoding. The base stuff. That's what we're talking about. Web attestation. I don't know what that is. Yeah, cryptography. It took me a second too. Sorry about that. Cryptography. Yes. Yeah. Web crypto library. Let's clarify. There we go. What else is there? I mean, this one is a very general one. I feel like there's some browser API deep cuts. Is there anything that we're missing up here? I don't know. None of those are browser APIs. I feel like I should have more things. I feel like I should have more complaints, but the browser fixed my problems with client navigation with the navigation API. They fixed diffing pages with view transitions. It's an absolute marvel. I just want support for it. I can't think of anything else. Can I just move on? We can come back to this. Yeah. Okay, front-end frameworks. React, a declarative, efficient, and flexible JavaScript library for building user interfaces. I would use it again, but we're on the verge right there. I just shipped a library with React, so I gotta do it. Used it, got a job, would use it again. Respect, man. Respect. That's why we use it. Vue, a progressive, incrementally adoptable framework for building UI on the web. I would use it again. Vue is a fun time. Angular, note that this question targets Angular. Notice how... So for these, we got like a beautiful, just aspirational elevator pitch. And for Angular, we get, okay, we're talking about Angular, okay? Not AngularJS. He doesn't actually sell it. That's so good. They've had so many questions about this on the old survey. They're like, you know what, screw it. You know what Angular is? We just have to put a big disclaimer up here. They should have put a disclaimer box and then a pitch. So that way it feels similar. I wish there was, I don't really like it, but I'd probably use it again. Yes, exactly. Yeah, I ran into that on the last survey where I'm like, I'm going to use it again, but I did not have a good time. It feels like they equate, I'm going to use it again with, and I liked it. They don't know we have Stockholm Syndrome with some of these libraries. Like, this library hurt me, but I have a job, and I need to use it again. Wait till you go down a bit more. Oh, boy. Okay, so I'm interested in what they're doing now, and Brandon Roberts is an awesome person that's making some course content for Angular, so I'm going to say use it again, just because there's good people and good changes happening. That's all. I would use Preact again. I would use Solid.js first. I've said my grievances before. I think Preact is a cool idea. It's a lightweight version of React, so if you just want to use the same hooks, you can. But React Compat is a mess. Library support is not there because no one uses Preact. It's just not a great choice. I like Solid because you know what you're getting into. Preact promises to support React libraries, and then you go to support pages for like every major library, and there's one guy asking for Preact, and one response saying, we don't test Preact, sorry, we can't guarantee it. Radix UI, can't use Preact. Tailwind UI, or their component library, can't use Preact. So it's like, okay, the major UI libraries, I can't use Preact, so why am I doing this? That's my problem. It makes a promise, and when it fails, it's a catastrophic failure. So I just can't recommend it that much. I love Svelte to death. I like Alpine. I love how it's called rugged because it's a mountaineer's framework. And I have a great time using Alpine. There is an issue with cross-site scripting because you're literally writing JavaScript inside of quotes. I know that. But it is still a joy to use. Also, I need to check if I have to attend this meeting. I asked to not attend because I don't think I need to. Let me see if I have a reply here. I don't. And I don't think I need to attend this meeting. It's also just not happening right now. This is weird. There was supposed to be a meeting right now, and no one is in it. Lol. Okay, I think I'm good. Cybernetically enhanced web apps. It's pretty cringe. I wish they would update that. Because I still don't know. No one knows what that means, and that was kind of the point. But, like, I don't know about that tagline. It doesn't speak to me at all. I love this. I think Alpine's my favorite tagline because React is just so big, the tagline's meaningless. Vue promises to be everything, and it kind of is to a lot of people, but it's very vague. But I like how Alpine's like, we're minimal, we're pretty rugged, you can put JavaScript in your markup. Like, it's obvious what it does, it's obvious where the limitations are, it knows what it is. I want libraries that don't promise to do everything. They know what they are. So there we go, I like Alpine. Lit, simple, fast web components. Also, it's a great way to put it. It simplifies web components. That's all they do. I would use it again. It's definitely not my favorite on the list, but I like what they're doing, and web components are nice for building libraries that other people use. I don't like authoring web components myself, though. Solid, a declarative, efficient, flexible JavaScript library for building user interfaces. Again, this is pretty meaningless stuff. I wish they were more focused on fine-grained reactivity that reacts faster than any other framework. It's about performance. It's about good mental models, all of that. This is just vague. You could say this about any framework. So Solid, you might want to work on that. But I love you, so we're going to use it again. Quick, there's no tagline, funny enough. Quick is in that bucket of promising to do everything, which I've never liked. I think that it's trying to be the most optimal way to write code on the web, but it's shooting for the moon, and I don't think it's hitting for people because they don't have a target audience. That's just my opinion on their marketing side. But as a tool, it is pretty cool. And I'll admit, I have not used Quick. I have not used Quick. I haven't. I've read it. I've looked at it. I've watched streams. Haven't used it. So I'll just say I would like to learn. Stencil, I have not used it. UI components and static site generated progressive web. That's a lot of words. What does that even mean? Static site generated progressive web apps. Aren't those two different things? Static site, progressive web app? What am I reading? That's a lot of things. It's a web component compiler, though. I'm not really interested because lit HTML is fine. You can also use Svelte to compile the web components. That's what I would do. Oh, boy. Oh, we're so back. We're so back. Here we are. It should tell you about HTMX. Come on, man. Okay, other options. I wouldn't put Astro in here because it's a meta framework. I'm not going to do it. That's everything that I would want to list on this survey. There's nothing else that I use. I could say Hyperscript, but I don't really use that anymore. It was this cool experiment from years ago that I think kind of fell off, hasn't really maintained. So yeah, we're so back. Gets the people going. Yeah. HTMX, high-powered tools for HTML. I like that name. That's good. Atharva, Quick will be inspired from a lot of frameworks for sure. Yeah, it is. And it's definitely its own thing. I've looked into what it actually does. It uses analytics on your site to choose which JavaScript bundles to prefetch onto the page. Like, it goes so deep into the app that you're building that it can look at how users use your app to decide what should load when. It's obvious we should be doing this, but it's so advanced that no one else is even like doing it or paying attention. Like, Quick is doing some insane stuff. But I do prefer these other frameworks because I know how they work, the communities are very clearly there, and the selling points are very clearly there. Except for Solid. You gotta work on it, Solid. I don't know. But yeah, Quick is a funny one. Do you work out? I do. Why do you ask? Am I looking good? Am I looking good right now? Do we have the muscles right now? Yeah, work out. Thank you. I wish they had an option to star one as a favorite. Yeah, I would love that. I would love that. I would star Svelte. Svelte is still my number one. Still a number one for me. I would probably, let's rank them. Let's rank them just for fun. We'll actually look at the sidebar here. So I would rank, and this is not based on ecosystem, which actually, no, we have to include ecosystem in it. I wanted to say just aspirationally what's our favorite. But yeah, I would tier Svelte in S class, S for Svelte. Svelte 5, S+, absolutely fantastic, number one. I would put Alpine.js in like a B class. I think I said on Twitter a C class. I'll give them a B class. I would love to say A for Alpine, but like, Alpine's got some weirdness, so I'll give that a B class. Okay, ranking is too hard. Let's just do top three. Top three frameworks. Number one is Svelte. Number two, Solid is a tough one because I don't use it enough, so I'm not going to say that. HTMX just doesn't feel like it belongs, so I'm not going to put HTMX. HTMX is in its own category. That is S++, okay? That is on its own over there. If HTMX was not on the list, we're just talking about client.js, I would throw down Svelte as number one. Alpine's my number three, okay? So Svelte number one, because ecosystem matters, and I love using ShadCN, and I love using these other tools. React is my number two. I know, it hurts, I'm sorry. Svelte number one, React number two, Alpine number three. That's my list. If HTMX went on the list, it would bump Alpine off, and we would just put HTMX on there. It just feels wrong to compare them. That's my ranking. Yeah, I'm putting React at number two because ecosystem is just tough to beat. Like, if there are really good libraries, like React Aria is the best suite of tools to explain accessible UIs. Like, their docs, unmatched, go super deep. It's based on decades of experience at Adobe. Like, no one can beat the React ecosystem because there are so many massive companies that now have 7 years plus of React experience open sourcing tools that they built. Like, that is huge. It will take a long time for other tools to really match that maturity. So React is number 2 just for that. Svelte gets close enough, and it's way nicer to write Svelte. So Svelte hits that number 1 for me. And Alpine's just a lovely tool. So number 3. How happy are you with the current state? I'm happy. I wouldn't say very happy because there's a lot of push and pull, and React server components are going to break everything. But yeah. What pain points have you encountered with front-end frameworks? Well, let's just say it. React server components are breaking the ecosystem with experimental tools. Let me think here. Tools like Solid.js and Quick have struggled with a focused marketing strategy. They're great and serve adoption, though. Yeah. Let me think. Bundlers, dude. Bundlers. I was about to type something else, but then I was like, yeah, that's the tweet. Bundlers. Bundlers are awful. Did you try Angular 17? No, I didn't. That's why I still put it in. I want to use it again. Too many frameworks every week. Yeah. There's just too many options for newbies to pick. There we go. Virtual DOM's slow. That's true. Virtual DOM's slow, but I don't think that's framework. I don't think that's the framework ecosystem's problem because people are solving it. Solid solved it. Preact solved it by letting you use signals inside of React. Like, there's a lot of cool ways. Million.js, which is this cool way to bootstrap high-performance rendering into React apps. There's so many options out there now. Maybe I should have said Million.js. I'm actually going to put it. Back to front-end frameworks. Let's put Million.js on here. I know the creator, and he's a chill guy. Million! There we go. Okay, Next.js. You're just going to hit me off the bat like that? You got to warn me first. Oh, God. Yep. I'll use it again for competitive analysis. I think Astro is the next full stack framework. I think it makes it way easier. Yeah, used it, will not use it again. Understood. I think Astro has a path forward for simple, powerful apps that don't require next generation bundling, that don't require JSX streaming with 100 kilobytes of runtime, that don't require lock-in to React. You can use whatever framework you want. I think Astro has a path forward that really hits Next.js where it hurts. And to me, that's mental model. Next.js might be easy enough to learn, but I do not understand what it's doing. Not even close. I spent 40 hours writing a talk on building React server components from scratch, and I only scratched the surface on what you can do and how server components work. Server actions break my brain. They offer so many weird areas for you to, shoot yourself and ship stuff to the client by accident. Forms are just a really unproven pattern with server actions that feel weird to use. I tried it. I didn't like it. I think Astro is going to be the underdog that can pull on all of these people that are like, Next.js is weird. Next.js doesn't make sense to me. That's where Astro comes in. If you want something that actually makes sense, where the mental model is, oh, you ship HTML, I get it. That's Astro. And I think we can write libraries. That's why Simpleform came out. It's a starting point to build a suite of tools for Astro apps. That's what I'm trying to do. So I'll use Next.js to keep looking at what they're doing, make sure we support the React ecosystem, but I think we can do better. I don't want my children to use Next.js. I don't want my college friends to use Next.js. I think it's fine. I think Next.js made improvements over where they started. I used Next.js in college and enjoyed it, but I think we can do better. I think we're digging down a rabbit hole that we should just get out of. Do something else. That's how I feel. Allowing Svelte and React to work with Astro? Exactly. You can use Solid with Astro. You can use Alpine.js with Astro if you just want sprinkles. Like, you can do whatever. Next.js for job opportunities, I'm aware. I'm very aware. But to be honest, you just need React.js to be hireable. And Astro lets you use React.js. You can use it all over the place, and you can use major UI libraries. So I don't think using Astro hurts your hireability. If you can say, I've been a React developer for 5 years, and you happen to put your React components in Astro, like, you still have 5 years of React experience. And that applies to Next.js directly. So you're not hurting your job opportunities using React in Astro. Not at all. No one cares if you're using this specific framework. They care you use React. So there you go. And if you want to quote the Primogen, they just care that you have programming experience, you've built side projects, and you know web technologies. So at that point, the framework really doesn't matter. React doesn't even matter. So you know. Also, Astro encourages you to try other tools like Solid or Vue or Svelte, which to me makes you way more well-rounded. If you can use more than one front-end framework, then you understand frameworks at a higher level than someone who only knows React and Next. And that makes you way more hireable, I think. So if you can say I have 5 years of React experience and also I built these tools as a side project, that's more hireable than 5 years of Next.js only. That's my take, 100%. Shut down technology and build a farm. Honestly, if you have 5 years of plowing experience, just out in the fields, like, that's good too. That means you actually got your head on straight. You notice I said plowing because I don't even know farming that well. I should get out on the field. The field. Step 1, get the job. Step 2, rewrite the entire app in Astro. Step 3, retire before they migrate back to something else. They'll stay on Astro, though. Trust me. They'll love it. They'll love it. In one place, I'm being forced to use Bootstrap Tailwind. Yeah, Bootstrap over Tailwind. Yeah, I know, that sucks. I've been feeling JS framework fatigue. I'm hoping that Astro helps people. I've had 29 years of experience being awesome. Am I hireable? Once you hit 30 years, I think you could be a senior dev. Right now, you sound like a junior level 3. But, you know, drop your resume in the chat and we'll evaluate. I'm joking, of course. If you're awesome, you're awesome. That means you're hireable. Okay, Nuxt. I like Nuxt. I like what they're doing. Their dev tools are fantastic. And I want Astro to somehow catch up to what they're doing because they are just moving lightning speed on these tools. Nuxt is great. Gatsby, absolutely not. And I don't really need to explain myself. Build better websites. Create modern, resilient user experiences with web fundamentals. That's a good pitch. That's a good pitch. Good on you, Remix. And I will use it again because I like what they're doing. I like that it's all just form requests at the end of the day. I don't like that they promised support for Preact and Vue and all those and then didn't really deliver. I was hoping that they would, but nah, they're a React framework. What are you going to do? If they pivot to server components, I might feel different, but right now I like Remix. Astro, why is there no pitch? Say what we are. Say it with your chest. Everyone, go take State of JS and throw Astro. Whoops. Over there? Yeah. Throw Astro on your list. Use it, would use it again. And if you haven't used it, would like to learn. You heard it from bholmes Dev. Put a comment. Referred by bholmes Dev. Put that in your survey. Referred by bholmes Dev. Let's see how many people got referred by me on that. All right? Come on. You don't have to do that, by the way. There's no kickback. There's no system. I just thought it was funny. I don't know. I kind of feel weird how a meta framework is known for its dev tools. Yeah, it is kind of funny. It's my perspective. Most people know Nuxt as the Vue framework. And if you like Vue, you like Nuxt. That's just that. Ben Owens made me do it. There we go. 11D. I've got personal history. I've got nostalgia with 11D. I have a bi-monthly chat with Zach Leatherman, the creator of 11D. We still talk. They announced ESM support. Hooray. They support web components in a nice way. Good for them. But now that Astro has replaced my static site needs, I'm probably not going back to 11D, even though I have history. The real ones know. The real ones know the origin. The real ones know where we came from. So I'm just going to say would use it again because, come on, we can't do them like that. We can't do them like that. All right, SvelteKit, the fastest way to build Svelte apps. Yep. So you have to know about Svelte before you even care about SvelteKit. Their taglines are not very good. Cybernetically enhanced web apps. That doesn't mean anything. The fastest way to build Svelte apps. I don't know what Svelte is. And what if I heard about SvelteKit first? I don't know. But yeah, I would use it again. SvelteKit is probably the closest to Astro's spirit of light JavaScript, great developer experience, focused on web fundamentals. The only weird part is all the code generation and wacky routing conventions. Their plus symbols for pages and layouts, I cannot get behind it. Yeah, so I'd use it again, but I think there's some weird parts. Not interested in Docusaurus because Starlight is on the list. Jesus, people. I'm interested in Solid Start. We're going to wait on it. Dino Fresh, I don't care. I'm sorry. I used it once. It's like, yeah, you can put Preact on a server, but they're going back on their old pitch. Their original pitch was Dino is the zero bundle runtime. Like, you don't even have to bundle your app. You just ship it to a server. But what about Tailwind? Okay, fine. That's a bundling step. What about TypeScript and TSX? Okay, fine. That bundles on request, but it's no bundler. It's like, just the zero bundler doesn't make sense if I can use Tailwind and these other tools. So like, and the framework itself, just use Astro. I don't get it. I'm sorry. Anyways, other options. We mentioned Starlight. Starlight! Yeah, put that right in on your survey right there. Starlight, baby. Let's go. How happy are you with the current state of meta frameworks? I'm happy enough. I love Astro. What pain points have you encountered when using meta frameworks? Next.js is pushing the React ecosystem in a weird direction. Bundlers have to keep up. And the path to implement RCs is very confusing. Yeah. Let me think about other things. That is a very opinionated take. I've gotten spicier over time. Because I remember this stream a year ago, I was trying Nuxt and Svelte and Solid Start and being open to every idea. 2024 is the year that Ben has opinions. It's the year that if you come to a Ben stream, you know what I like, you know what I stand for, and I'm trying to rally up other people who kind of agree. That Astro for Apps is awesome, that all the major front-end frameworks, React, Svelte, Solid, are awesome, and we should be able to use them interchangeably. And Next.js is kind of a weird ecosystem that I think we can do better than. That's my hard opinions, my hot takes. Ben has opinions, I know. I feel like I don't know, I just feel like I haven't had opinions up until now. I've been very United Nations about everything. I've taught people how to use all these tools, or I've at least given sneak peeks, but now it's like, no, I want to focus. I want to have one way that I really like to do stuff. And I want to rally up people who think, you know what? You're onto something. Let's do this. Let's build stuff together. That's what I want to do. The same way that, I'll admit, Theo and Primogen have specific things that they're known for loving and known for hating. I don't want to be known for hating certain things, but I definitely want to be known for loving certain things. So that's where we're at. I say that while having this spicy take in my responses, but you know what I mean. Ben Awad? No, man. Jesus. Hey, I'll always be in that guy's shadow. You can't thirst trap better than that guy. You really can't. Let me see here. Server runtimes it's tough to choose a hosting platform. Server, different server runtimes, Dino, serverless, and now Edge. Hard to, it locks frameworks like Next into happy paths. Hosting is a different section? Ah, man. Fine, I'll leave it over there. But I feel like Next.js is at least one example of where a framework is built with certain assumptions, and if you don't host with those assumptions, the framework doesn't work as well. Other frameworks don't have this problem as much. Dino Fresh obviously does. I mean, you can only host that on Dino. 11D is weird. You can only host static sites for that, so you can't really do server rendering anymore. Astro is less opinionated, but we did drop support for Cloudflare and others. Those are third-party adapters now. A little funny. Gatsby got bought by Netlify and then kind of died. Their content service lives on, but it's a weird area. I wrote the same issue. Nice. I'm glad we've got some alignment there. I'm just going to put it here, and I'm going to paste it on the next page, too. How about that? So, yeah, we'll just move on, because the rest of this is a bit funny. Yeah. We're entering a new wave of bundling. Vite, Rust, Webpack, Turbo. This means ecosystem thrash in the near future. That's what I'm feeling. I think 2024, this is going to come to a head. Where all of a sudden TurboPack is declared stable, but maybe too early. A bunch of React packages break, and we have to change how we do things. And then Vite is trying to move on to Rust with roll down. Roll up is their JavaScript compiler. Roll down is their Rust-based compiler that they'll move to in the coming years. And I think that's going to really shake things up. We will see. All right, just delightful JavaScript testing. No. Mocha, hey, simple, flexible, fun JavaScript test framework for Node.js and the browser. I wouldn't use it for browser testing, but you know what? Mocha's nice. Mocha's fine. You know, you got to compile, you have to write your test in JavaScript to really get it to run quickly, but Mocha's fine. It's fast. It's got good APIs. I like it. I like Mocha. Somehow it stood the test of time. They got ESM support pretty quick. Jest could never. It's just good. It's good enough. That's how I feel about Node.js too. Like, Bun is cool, Dino's cool, but Node, it's still good. It's still good. And now they have support for environment files. They got support for CLI arguments. They're slowly adding these things. And I got respect for Node. Node's fine. Storybook, no, I'm not even going to read it. Cypress, fast, reliable testing for anything that runs in the browser. I heard about what they did in the open source community where you couldn't fork Cypress or do custom things to it, which I don't like. I'm probably going to be on the Playwright team just because of that. Yeah. Their open source practices with forks turned me off. Switching to Playwright. That's just how I feel, man. Puppeteer, Headless Chrome. Yeah, I mean, I use it with those other frameworks. Testing library, good on you, Ken C. Dodds. It is still a good standard. I like it. Playwright, yeah. Node library to automate Chrome, Firefox, and WebKit with a single API. Is that really what it is? That feels like half the story, but it is what it does. I still write Node. We all do. We all do. If you're using a Vite in particular, you're writing Node. And if you deploy to Dino, you're actually shooting yourself in the foot a little bit because you're using Node in development and a different runtime in production. And that is a scary place to be. Bun is good at strapping onto something like Vite, so you actually use the correct runtime in development. But Dino's scary because you're not using Dino locally when you're using tools like Vite, Nuxt, Astro, all of them. So be careful. Make sure your dev and production are the same. That's also how I feel about Cloudflare. I love using Cloudflare, but in development, I'm using Node, which means I might shoot myself in the foot for production, and I don't like that. I want to use the same stuff everywhere, and Node is still the way to guarantee everything's the same. Ronan, welcome in. Welcome in. WebDriver, next-gen browser automated test. I have not used it, but I would like to learn it after hearing that tagline. Vitess, let's go! Jest would never. It's Vitest era, people. Selenium, I'm not interested. I don't know much about it. Test Cafe, I've never heard of that. Node.js tool to automate end-to-end web testing. Huh. Is that like an old framework or is it a new framework? I don't know. Mock Test Worker, Seamless REST GraphQL API, Mocking Library. Oh, for browser and Node. That sounds interesting. I'll give it a would like to learn. Other options for testing, I don't really use anything else. I'll throw down Chai, because you usually, if you have Mocha, you also got a little Chai on the side, you know what I mean? So we'll throw down Chai. Do we put Faker on here? Yeah, why not? Playwright's on the survey. We got Playwright. I would use it again. Cloud for local dev sucks a lot. Yeah, I'm sorry, man. So Astro, it sounds like Alex, who is the maintainer of the Cloudflare Astro integration. He's actually working with the Cloudflare team. Cloudflare team is interested in getting a dev experience, and Astro would be the target. So be on the lookout. Work is being done. Maybe a year from now, you could use Cloudflare in development with Astro. And Astro would be like the flagship story. That would be awesome. If Astro was like the flagship story for Cloudflare apps. So it's not there right now, but be on the lookout. Be on the lookout. They're working on it. They are working on it. User base does the testing. Spoken like Theo.gg, man. Spoken like a true startup. How happy are you with the current state of testing tools? I'm happy enough. I don't know. It's fine. What pain points have you encountered when using testing tools? Cypress, open source practices, noted above. Mocha's lack of TS support is annoying for Node tests. It just is. And there's not much you can do about it because Node doesn't support TypeScript. Jest bundling, even for simple ESM, is a mess to use. VTest solved this for me. Yeah. I think that's good enough. Mobile and desktop. Electron. To be honest, I haven't built an Electron app. Haven't done it. I feel like I should. I just haven't done it. I don't build apps. I have built React Native apps. I would use it again. I like it enough. Native apps. Let me see here. Oh, it's actually called native apps. Huh. I would like to learn that. Cordova. Apache Cordova. Oh, no, bite. Ionic. Oh, yes. Cross-platform UI toolkit for building native, quality, iOS, Android, and progressive web apps. So Ionic is doing a weird pivot, or actually a smart pivot, to embedded sort of web views within existing apps. So whenever you're building a business app, like Amazon.com, right? You might be building with native technologies to make the browse page and the add to cart all feel really smooth. But for the other stuff, like settings pages that could probably just use the desktop view for mobile, it would be nice if you could just embed a native view that runs your favorite framework and compiles with Vite, so it's super fast. Ionic is the tool for that. You probably don't want to use Ionic to build heavy animation-intensive apps, but I've used it in the past, and I had a good time. And for those types of applications, Ionic is also pretty good. Shout out to Jess on the Ionic team. She told me about that pitch, and I vibe with it. So Ionic, pretty good. Pretty good. Ionic was too bloaty. Capacitor is kind of their... I would like to learn that one. That's their pared down version that just lets you take a framework and put it on mobile. So if you want to use Vite on mobile, it's just a few lines to like take a Vite app, plop it in a web view, open Xcode to look at it on a phone. So that's pretty cool. That's probably like the lighter weight version, and Ionic has like the icon libraries, the components, the adapters, all that stuff. Noah.js called that's writing my vocation with all web technologies. I guess I'm not really interested in that, but okay. Yeah, Expo's pretty cool. It's chill. I like it. I don't love it, but I like it. Quasar. Responsive single-page apps server rendered. Server-side render apps, progressive web apps, hybrid. This feels like an Amazon listing. Jacket, black, winter, snow boots, winter time, snowflake. Just list every buzzword to make sure you click on it. That look native and Electron apps all using the same code base. What? No thanks. I'll just put never heard of it. Tori, I do want to use it. So it's Rust-backed, it's fast, it sort of gets rid of all the Electron cruft and lets you just build an app. But you do have to drop down to Rust if you need to do anything fancy. So they're still working on it. It's a newer tool. It's not going to have the Electron ecosystem and support group, but support group. People have been scarred by Electron. They go to support groups. Ooh. But yeah, I've heard of it. I want to try it. It is still early, though, so I probably wouldn't stake my multi-million-dollar startup on it, but looks nice. NativeScript. Yeah, I've definitely heard about this. I've heard about it to support Svelte and React and all of those. So I would like to learn it, yeah. Other options, I don't really build native apps, so I'm not really going to offer an opinion. I'm not putting Flutter. I am not putting Flutter. I refuse to put Flutter. No. How happy are you with the current state of mobile and desktop tools? I'm neutral because I don't really build web apps. And I'm also not going to put pain points. It just doesn't feel like my thing. Man, we have so much more to go, and I have 17 minutes until my morning meeting. So let's push through this quickly and see how many we can get done. Webpack, never again. Parcel, it got replaced by Vite. I'm sorry, y'all. They got a good developer team, but nah. Rollup, I use Vite, so I naturally will use Rollup. TSC, I just used it. It's pretty good. You can compile source maps. It's pretty slow. I know that. That's the problem with it. But it works fine. And for building small packages like I am right now, it works. It's totally chill. I got no problems with that. SWC, I probably wouldn't use it because actually, Vite, if you use React and you use Vite, it is using this tool under the hood to make it fast. So because of that, I would use it again. ESBuild is fantastic. Their plugin system's great. It has its flaws, but I like ESBuild, so use it again. Of course I would use Vite. Everyone has to hit this button. Jesus. TurboPack, it's too early. So I'll say I would use it again. I like what they're doing, but it's too early. TSUP, I don't know what it is. I've heard of it, I think, but no. Biome, I have a video today about Biome. I just switched from ESLint to Biome on my open source repo, SimpleStack. It's using Biome. It took me 2 minutes to set up. The linter works great. They have a NeoVim plugin now. It's third party, but they got one. It's good. It's a good tool. I didn't have to install anything else. It compiled my TypeScript. It compiled my React. God, it's good. At first, I was like, is it crazy to say ditch ESLint for Biome as the title of the video? And then I was like, no, I just did that. I just ditched ESLint, and I would do it again. So, yeah, Biome, use it. Go Google it right now. biomejs.dev. Go here, try it. It's not Remix. I'm sorry that the logo looks like Remix. I know that. And also the docs are on Starlight, which is cool. So, Biome. Google it. Biome.js if you need some SEO. But yeah, Biome's fantastic. Other options not listed. What other bundlers are there that I use? I can't think of any. They have a new logo. Not on the web page, though. Is this the new logo? Because it still looks like the Remix logo. Bun bundler. Oh, good point. Yeah, Bun definitely counts. And Dino is technically not bundled, so I'm not going to say it. Whatever. Yeah, Bun is the one. Bun is the one. I'm watching it. I still think Node is great. I think for building anything stable, you should still use Node. But Bun is fascinating, and I'll watch it in a year or two. And most importantly, I'm glad Bun and Dino exist because they're pushing Node to work on things that they've kind of lagged on for years. So it's pushing Node forward, and I love that. I found out about this survey recently, and it's sick. Yeah, man, it's sick. JavaScript Survey 2023. Everyone jump in, vote for Astro, vote for Biome, vote for Vite. Those are 3 things that you have to click. You can skip the rest of the survey if you don't have time. Vote for Astro, vote for Vite, vote for Biome. Those are my 3 picks, if I had any. Yeah. It helps you keep up with JS Tech. Exactly. Does someone drop a link to the State of JS survey? Okay, Biome discussions. Oh, they have a discussion about a new logo. Yeah, I wasn't sure when they were going to drop it, but that's good. How happy are you with the current state of build tools? I'm happy. I can't say very happy because we're still working towards something. I also say roll down, but maybe it's too early. Maybe it's too early to say roll down. We're working on it. That's going to be the Rust-based version. Thank you for sharing State of JS, man. Everyone go there. Astro, Vite, Biome. You heard it here first. What pain points have you encountered? Webpack, please go away. Let me think. Do not copy Ben's answers. Yes, we need to. No one cheat. No one's cheating. Oh my God. Except the 3 he pointed. Yes, only vote for those. Only vote for those. The rest of it, you can have your own opinion. But those three, I ask that you have my opinion. Okay, so is there anything else? TSC is still slow and doesn't have solid competition. Seeing Biome Challenge prettier gives me hope. There you go. Monorepo Tools. Rush. Monorepo for tools by the Rush Stack. It's a cool name. I love Rush. It's a good band. But I guess I would like to learn it just because it's called Rush. Turbo Repo. I've used it and I would use it again. It's got problems. Sometimes I don't use Turbo because the console output is such a mess. The way that they like push all of your console messages into these like sub messages, it like removes formatting for errors. It removes syntax highlighting completely. It sucks. Like once you use Turbo Repo, all your console logs are just awful to go find. And because of that, I open multiple terminals and run each thing individually in development just because the console logs are so annoying in Turbo Repo. That's what I don't like. But the way that you can write a config, it just takes a few lines. I love that. So I'll keep using Turbo Repo, but I'll avoid it where I can. Yarn workspaces are fine. The thing is, I've used it, and I don't know if I'll use it again. I don't know. I mean, they're fine. I'll just say I wouldn't because I won't use Yarn. Yolk. That's a weird word. Lerna, yeah, I'm not interested anymore. And I think the maintainer kind of said, it's over. You should use something else. Yeah, NPM now has workspaces built in. They're pretty good. PNPM is fantastic. If there was a fourth pick, it would be PNPM. I use it for everything. I almost want to rewrite all of the docs for SimpleStack to say use PNPM. I don't want a tab switcher that says, here's the instructions for Yarn, here's the instructions for NPM. What if we just made everyone use PNPM? Just no instructions, you have to use PNPM. Would that be okay? Because I want to be open to what people use, but it's like, can we just make people use PNPM? Can we just do that? Can we start a movement? I would love that. It's difficult for Yarn. I know. It's funny that PNPM swooped in. NX, I want to learn it because I've talked to the NX devs. They're doing awesome stuff. Maybe they would address my problems with Turbo Repo. Maybe they would. So I should probably try them. Monorepo tooling, I don't care about it that much. I just want it to work. So I think PNPM is where I start. Yeah, PNPM or else. Yeah, PNPM is where I start. And I add Turbo Repo if it gets too complicated. But I'll try NX. I'm very happy, to be honest. I don't think there's much I would change, except for Turbo Repo and the dang console logs. Turbo Repo breaks formatting for all my console logs in development. It's a pain. Facts. What else would I say? Is there anything else? NPM versus Yarn versus PNPM makes docs annoying to write. 3 competing standards to support. Very sad. Okay, gotta leave for a meeting. See ya, Elian. I will in a moment as well. We're not in the same meeting, but we're pretty close. Okay, which libraries do you regularly use? I don't use any of these. I don't use Ramda anymore. So I guess I can't put it. jQuery. No. RX, no. It's funny how few of these I use. Zod, let's go, Zod. Partytown, I want to use it. I don't use it regularly, but I really should. Mitosis, no. Moment, not anymore. Day.js, I used it like once. Date functions, no. Yup, no. Okay, so we need to add some things. So Just.js is a fantastic suite of tools. Let me show you this. Well, it's not Just.js. It's a collection of tools called Just that lets you Google for specific things that you need. So if you want just the group by function, just group by. If you go to Angus C/just, he has this full repo of every library and the size of every library down to the byte. So you know exactly what you're shipping, exactly which things you're pulling in. Just map object is my favorite one. So if you need to map the keys of an object to a new value in a type-safe way. TypeScript is so annoying when you try to do this. Map object is so good. So yeah, I'm going to copy a link to this. But just is so good. It's not just JS, which is a separate thing, annoyingly. Just. Angus C. Just. Use it. It's fantastic. And that's kind of the only utilities I use. I'll be honest. Libraries for graphics and animation. To be honest, negative experience. Framer is weird to use, has a lot of JavaScript, and to be honest, Vue transitions replaced my need for it. So, whatever. React Spring doesn't ask regularly. No, it doesn't really care. But React Spring, I don't use regularly, but I want to because Josh Komu has shown me how cool it is. Heavier scripts like analytics, yeah. That's what Partytown is for. Thanks for answering that. And Nikki, what's up, man? You're hopping in on the tail end here, but we're finishing up this survey. Motion 1, haven't used it. Pop Motion, haven't used it. 3, JS. I would use it again. It's a good time. Greensock, I have a good time using Greensock. I like it. It's fun. Native Vue transitions. Winky face. Backend frameworks. Okay, Express. I wouldn't say negative experience. Express is fine, but we can do better, and we are. I haven't used Nest or Strappy or Fastify or Meteor or Happy or Koa. I don't use it anymore. Adonis, I've heard, is like the OG framework of opinions to build backends in JavaScript. And I like the sound of that. Like every time I mentioned Laravel for JavaScript, people are like, Adonis! And I'm like, what's that? Which means I should probably learn it. I'll add it to my list. Redwood, they're changing everything. I've spoken to the maintainers of Redwood. They are experimenting with server components and they're about to change everything. So it's probably not, it's an okay time to learn Redwood, but I'd expect the rug to kind of be pulled out under you as they change how they do it. For the better, but big changes are coming to Redwood. Be wary of that. Like bigger than Pages Router. That's how big we're talking. Bigger than Next.js App Router versus Pages Router. Sales Direct, I don't know what any of these are. Blitz, no. Okay, so we got to put Hono. Got to put Hono. Oh, they won't? Okay. Hono. Is there anything else? Hat Tip, that's a pretty good one, but Hono's my number one. Yeah, that's kind of it. That's kind of it for me. GraphQL optional now. That's sign of things to come. JavaScript runtimes. I've heard about the browser. It's an interesting idea. It lets you like pull up a window and look at graphics. They can like move around and you can click on them too. It's this really fun idea. I used to just rely on the newspaper, but these days the browser really does have these options to look at my news online. So I really do like getting connected on the internet. So I think I'm going to use the browser again. I think we should all use the browser again. Node is fantastic. I shouldn't say fantastic. It's got its warts, but Node is still good enough. That's how I feel about it. I honestly had a negative experience with Dino. Their package JSON support was really weird. I couldn't get dev versus production builds to work really well. Fresh is a weird pitch. Just no. I'm not a huge fan of Dino. Hermes, I've heard about it. I just haven't used it. Service workers, yeah, I'll end up using service workers at some point. Bun, to be honest, I haven't used it this year, but I know I need to try it next year. So there you go. So I am actually going to put Cloudflare, because that is a custom runtime. Cloudflare Edge runtime. It counts. JavaScript Edge server. Oh, frick. Dang it. Okay, never mind. I would use Cloudflare Workers again. I would use Lambda again, obviously. Netlify Edge, nah. Just because I don't use Netlify anymore. Edge runtime, it's fine. It's just Cloudflare Workers Lite. You just lose all the Cloudflare features, but you can do it. I've honestly had a negative experience with deployments, so whatever. Fly.io, I really want to use it this year. This year is the year of Fly.io. DigitalOcean functions, nah. Azure, nah. What else do we use? What are these? Edge and serverless runtimes. Do we use any others? I don't think so. I think these are the serverless runtimes that we use. And Fly.io is like server adjacent. Like, what are they really? Who knows? It's actually called Worker D. True. Don't say worker D's nuts. Oh. I said it. I'm sorry. I couldn't resist. If you want to clip it, you can. I'm sorry. When you see worker D, you just... I mean, there's only one thought that goes in my head. I'm sorry. Anyways. Okay, next year is going to be the year of PHP and Ruby on Rails. We're going to do a video series where we explore other backend frameworks, and PHP and Ruby are going to be in them. Go, I want to use it again. Rust, both? 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 Both of these? I'll just put a check mark. I haven't used Java in forever. Well, I'll put a negative experience. I like C. I don't like C++. OCaml. It could be the year of OCaml. Kotlin. I love Kotlin, man. Elixir. I had a fun time learning Elixir for one weekend. I think that's everyone's story. I had a fun time learning functional programming for that one weekend. Did you ship anything? No. I just learned it and I liked using functions, but I didn't ship anything. Functional programming summarized. And that's all the languages, whatever. Which of these AI tools? Oh, there we go. That's weird. Llama, no. Codium, no. Cody, I didn't even hear about that. ChatGPT, we all know that it does things. JetBrains AI, huh. V0, I'm going to be watching you. Copilot, obviously. Tab 9, negative experience. I don't use it anymore. Bing, I don't use it. But yeah, that's my summary. Don't have a lot of opinions on AI, I'll be honest. Which of these services have you used to host? I'll end up on AWS again. I'll end up on Cloudflare again. I want to use Flyo next year. Negative experience with GitHub Pages. They don't support enough things. You can do static sites, but not enough. Heroku, also negative experience, just pricing and just community vibes. How about? I'll use Vercel again, for sure. And that's my hosting providers. All right, we're flying now. But I think I've hit the time for my meeting. So I sadly have to stop the survey here. I'll keep the tab open. We will submit it. But I invite you to finish this survey out. Once again, for the people in the back, State of JS survey. Right here. Vote Astro, Vite, and Biome. Those are my 3 asks. Astro, Vite, Biome. You heard it here first. Drop your votes. We love it. PHP is so back. I agree. Next year is going to be the year of me trying Laravel and maybe replicating it in Astro a little bit. We have ideas. Livewire's cool. I'll just leave it at that. Okay, so let me find someone to raid. And yeah, go fill out the survey, people. That's the whole point of this. Finite Singularity. Let's do it. I normally raid the Primogen, but come on. We got to show support to the chalkboarders out there. All right, rating Finite Singularity. Thank you, everyone, for joining. I hope you had a good time watching me give hot takes and unpopular opinions. Might be a standalone video, I don't know. But I'll see you around. Y'all are the best. Y'all are awesome. Y'all are hireable even if you don't use React. Take care.